Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a short story time of one of the times whereas I became inactive, or shortly before I became inactive. Okay, so here we go. Shortly after I became baptized, I mentioned before that I became inactive for maybe about a year or two. Um, I felt guilty. My mother, who was an active Jehovah's Witness, she will encourage me to return to the King Mahal and Jehovah's Witnesses. And eventually I did. I returned. So I said to myself, I need a fresh start. So doing so, I transferred to a new congregation. So I'm in a congregation that I didn't know anyone. That's what I thought the fresh start I needed, a new start. So the elders, once they received my card, I forgot the record or card, I forgot the exact name of it. They met with me and, and knowing and seeing that I was inactive and I was returning back, they recommended that I have a refresher Bible study. To go over not over the Bible, but per se, but over the Jehovah's Witness publications. I agreed, and so the elders, one of the elders, eventually he assigned me he assigned his wife to conduct a Bible study with, or to be my Bible study conductor. Um, this is one of my old video, my one of my videos. I mentioned a couple of elder rats. I referenced the term elder rats. Later, found out she was one who I considered to be an elder rat, meaning that although she was not an elder, she acted as if she was a person of authority, as if she was an elder. So the elder rat is the female version of the elder within the congregation. So back to the story. The elders recommended, one of the elders recommended his wife. His wife, I agreed. His wife, we began to have a Bible study, which was fine. I said, okay, I felt, and everyone was telling me as well that I was spiritually weak. I left, I became inactive. They would tell me, and I kept hearing this in my mind, rehearsed in my mind, that I was spiritually weak. That was the reason why I became inactive. And that was when returning back to the organization, that was why I agreed to have a Bible study or refresher Bible study. So the sister, she would come to my home to conduct the Bible study. She would bring other sisters, of course. I know the whole spiel. I began to feel a little apprehensive. I got tired of the Bible study. Initially, Bible study would last no more than an hour. It was going good at one point in time, but when it started getting cold, I'm on the East Coast. So when it started getting cold, I noticed that the sisters will spend extra time at my home. Initially, as I mentioned, the Bible studies will last an hour. It will slowly start to graduate to, or increase to, an hour and a half and 2 hours. Now, I began to think and to perceive as if they were taking advantage. They were trying to count time. It was cold outside and they were counting time. So, but I'll take accountability for my part. I did not come out and tell the sister who was conducting the Bible study with me, that I didn't want them to stay beyond an hour. Looking back, I should have had that conversation with her, that I'm uncomfortable with, this long amounts of Bible study time, or the amount of time that we're preparing or studying for our Bible study. Mind you, I was always prepared for the Bible study. I had the chapter or whatever the lessons already highlighted. I had my comments. I referenced the scriptures. Already had that, but I didn't. Again, I did not. I did not share my true feelings to the sister. However, I started to give hints. I know it's immature, I know. I started to give hints. I started to blow off the Bible study, especially if I had something that I need to take care of, some errands to run. Um, or if I didn't blow off the Bible study, I will mention when the sisters came to my home. Hey, by the way, I have a meeting, I have something I have to get to, and we can't stay, beyond an hour. I'll start to mention that. it will go back to the, eventually it went back to me, okay, an hour. But once I said I had something to do, the Bible study will remain at an hour, cut off at an hour. But if I didn't say that, it would go on and on and on. So I just got tired of it altogether. So the sister, I guess she felt the coldness I was giving to her. In a sense, she called me after many times that I blew off the Bible study. She called me, and asked me, was it okay? She sounded like she was concerned. She sounded as if she was concerned about my well-being, and I opened up to her. I said, no, no, everything is okay. And that was an opportunity for me to share with her about, you know, how I perceive her, abusing the time for the study. But I didn't do so. I said everything was okay. Nothing's changed in my life. Everything is okay. The sister said, well, it seemed like it's something going on, as if you're hiding something. I said, hiding something? I said, hiding like something like what? She said, I don't know. She said, but I asked your neighbors about you. I said, my neighbors? I said, what do you mean, my neighbors? She said, yeah, I asked my neighbors who coming on your house. I said, why would you do that? So a friendly conversation on the phone turned into a, a, a confrontational conversation on the phone quickly when she mentioned to me that she reached out to my neighbors. I will say this, at the time, I had two Jehovah's Witness families on my block. And so, I when she said that, I assumed that she spoke with them. But when the sister went on to, she was just vocal about it. Yeah, I asked your neighbors, the neighbors across the street, the neighbors down the street, and one of the Jehovah's Witness families, one of the sisters, we were friendly, we were cordial to each other. And I just asked her, I said, did anyone ask you something about me or anything about me? And she mentioned yes. So the sister talked to not only the Jehovah's Witness families that was on my block, at least one of them. She also spoke with my non Jehovah's Witness family, asking, trying to get information and asking who comes and goes out my house. I will say too, while I was a Jehovah's Witness, I was a single sister. As I mentioned before, I stayed to myself. So I don't know, because she knew that I was a single sister, whether, I had something going on, outside relationships going on. I'm not sure. Um, but I felt totally violated when she questioned my neighbors. I don't care if they were Jehovah's Witnesses or not. She had no reason to question my neighbors about what's going on in my home. So, fast forward, after we had that conversation, that blowout conversation, um, then following meeting, I think it was a Sunday meeting, I got called into the back room by the elders. One of the elders was again her husband. This elder here, um, he said, "Well, we received some information about you." Um, it was two elders, but the husband of the sister who was conducting the Bible study, he was doing all the talking for the most part. He said, "We heard some information about you." So I'm like, "Okay, like what?" So when he said that, I already knew that his wife shared some information about me. I said, "Okay." I said, "What information have you heard about me?" He said, "Well, it was told to us that you were living a double life, or you were, no, I'm sorry, not a double life, you were hiding something, that I was hiding something." I said, "Hiding what?" He said, "I don't know. Won't you tell us?" I said, "Tell you what? I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "Well, he said, it's been brought to my attention." I said, "Well, who brought this to your attention?" I said, "Where are they? If they're making an accusation about me, saying that I'm doing something against Jehovah or just against the organization, where are they? I have a right to ask them questions. Where did they get this information from?" So, but that meeting didn't go anywhere because he didn't have any information. The sister who shared the information or reported me to the elders, she didn't have any information. I wasn't doing anything. My neighbors, they were honest, and they didn't say anything. Oh, someone's coming out of our house, or a man or whoever's coming out of her house. They didn't say anything either because I wasn't doing anything. That was her perception because I was blowing her off. That's how I interpret it. things now. So it was a big blowout. So, of course, the Bible study officially ended. Um, I didn't want any parts of the sister. So, mind you, I'm coming back to the organization, trying to regain my spirituality, so to speak. Then I get dealt this blow. And that really crushed me. And that I felt, you hear stories of, I felt violated. I felt as if I couldn't trust anyone in the organization. Um, I felt I said, and then my mom, she was, and then of course I shared it with my mom and my family members, some of my family members. My mom said, "Oh, that was Satan. The truth, the organization is the organization is true, but not everyone in the organization is true." I forgot the saying she used to say. The truth is not in all of us, something like that she used to say. I said, yeah, not broke, but I couldn't shake it off because I didn't trust anyone. Anyone can blame or to accuse you of anything, and the elders can perceive that as to be true depending on the person's status within the congregation. This sister who reported me, she's an elder. She's an elder's wife. So she had some standing within the congregation. Who am I? I'm coming out. I'm coming to this new congregation. They don't know me. I don't know them. I was inactive for a couple of years. They probably said what she was doing with those, those years she was inactive. So, but that trickled down a spiral of me not trusting the organization, not trusting the elders or the members in the congregation. There were always some type of gossiping going on in in the congregation, I should say. This sister don't like this sister don't like this sister, and this brother don't like, it was always something going on. And so this has left another bad taste in my mouth regarding the organization and its supposedly love within the congregation, um, or brotherly love, like they used to call it. So shortly thereafter, maybe a couple of months, I became inactive again. I just couldn't take. I couldn't shake it. As I mentioned, I couldn't shake it. Um, I felt as if because that situation happened when the sister reported me to the elders, I got labeled. That's the beginning of me being labeled as bad association. And that's when I took the position of standing, having placing a guard around myself, being standoffish, being standoffish within the congregation, not allowing people to know me, and vice versa, not giving other people opportunity, not giving myself an opportunity to learn the other members in the congregation. Um, but yeah, that just left a bad taste in my mouth altogether. Something that it took me a while to try to shake. It took a while for me to shake, but I'm gonna leave it here. But that's my short story for today. Until next time, take care.